So this is source 2, the Codex Mendoza. And a reminder is that this is the Codex. The Codex is kind of where the Aztecs kept all their records. So this is the source we're talking about. This is a kind of a translation of what you're looking at here. But again, we've got context, so we want to start there. So our context says, this source is one page from a codex that records the tribute owed by each region to the Aztecs. When the Aztecs conquered a city-state, town, or village, the Aztecs did not take over the government or change the customs. Instead, Aztecs told local rulers to be loyal to the empire and send a certain amount of tribute at a certain time to Tenochtitlan. The kind of tribute a town owed depended on its local products. This codex lists the towns of each area on the left side of the page. Okay, so I'm gonna get my pen going here. So what we're looking at is this part right here. All of these are the different towns that were conquered and then forced to pay tributes. Everything over here. And right here, this is sort of a list of those towns. So this and this go together. Okay. So we've got a list of the towns in the codex, and then we have a list of the towns kind of written out for us with what the names of those towns mean. So that's part of it. And then the other part is right here where they're saying what is being given as tribute. So a tribute is when you say, like, we're not going to conquer, we're not going to take over your territory. Like it says over here, you get to keep the government. We're not going to change the customs. We're not going to do those things. But in return, you're going to pay us to kind of leave you alone. So these are the goods that were being paid. And this is listed out right over here. So these things are hieroglyphs for these things right here. So we've got the names of the towns over here, what they had to pay. Names of the towns, what they had to pay. Okay, so let's get to it. And we're going to answer some questions. So what did the Aztecs do when they took control of a territory? So you're going to look right here in this section and you're going to tell what the Aztecs did. And here is a sentence starter that you can use. Our next question is how to determine what the tribute would be. So how did they know what they were going to pay? And again, we're going to look to our context here and look for how did they decide what was going to be the tribute? How did they decide what the town was going to owe? And you can use this sentence starter right here. And our last question is just asking to give 2 examples of something that they would pay as tribute. So remember, if we look down here, we've got a list of things. You're just going to name 2 of them. You can use that sentence starter. Okay, so now it's time for our analysis. So first thing we have to do is describe what we see in the codex. So you are going to describe what's listed here. What are these hieroglyphs or these pictures depicting? So you're describing how it lists out all of the cities and then what tributes those cities would pay. And that's what you're going to put in this sentence right here. Okay, so now we're going to jump over and we need to explain what that means. So this is where you're going to kind of explain what a tribute is and how they decided what was paid. You might also want to talk about how they left the government alone, left the customs alone, but that they just made them pay tribute. Okay. And then we're answering our second analysis question. How does this support Tenochtitlan as a site of encounter? So conquest helped Tenochtitlan become a site of encounter because keep in mind that all of these goods have to go to the city of Tenochtitlan. So how is having these goods sent from like all over Mesoamerica, right? All over this part of the world, how having these goods sent to the city of Tenochtitlan is going to make people want to go to Tenochtitlan. And that's what goes in the sentence right here. All right, you got it. Now you're ready to move on to source number 3.